What's up and welcome to Conjuror Community. I'm Alex and I'm here with Steve from Conjuror Community, the world's best magic club. Today we are going to look again at the magic of Eugene Burger. Do us a favor real quick and hit like and subscribe. You'll be notified every time we go live with a new video. Hey Steve, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm excited to go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole with this. Eugene Burger stuff is really good. Now we're sort of moving into more of the contemporary Eugene, and I brought in a couple of examples that are things that he did from the last show where it sort of moved into the new echelon of what Eugene is. And that's sort of what we're going to start with today. Remember we saw that coin trick where you had the die, right. Coins were going through the table.
Sure.
Eugene sort of took just the best moment out of that whole routine and made that the mystery. And it's a real good examination of just understanding how, Eugene sort of, I guess the best way to put it is sort of like what his process is, It's a little bit of
the DNA.
Yeah, a little bit of it, just so you can get a taste of it and maybe use that to influence your own thinking and your own way of doing things. But let's take a look at this. Let's get this thing up here and let me make sure we have enough volume so you can hear what we have. And here we go. All right, so this is
another question that people ask me a lot is kind of a fun one, and that is whether I hide things in my beard.
It's a legit question.
It's a legit question, yes. Well, I do. I hide these in my beard. And yes, I mean, imagine right there, we have some imaginary powder.
Okay.
Yes, and if you take the powder, just a pinch of it, and sprinkle it over the cigarette disappears. Oh. And that's sort of an ecological theme for the present moment.
To stop smoking.
To stop smoking. Oh, let's see. I've always been
Can we pause right there?
I've always been a fan of.
Yeah.
Just before we move on.
Yeah.
That right there is a perfect lesson in misdirection.
Right.
It's just set up perfectly, right? The whole thing, he tells you exactly where he's going to go and exactly what he's going to do, and then he does it and you don't see it.
That's it.
It's just perfect. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to.
No, it's good. It's good to point out.
Carnival games. And this is a kind of interesting one. I've got four. These are like premium coins commemorating the Statue of Liberty. So there's a little message on one side, and on the other side there is the a Statue of Liberty drinking a quart of oil. You have to look carefully. Well, first I'll do this. I call this the three-coin trick. In fact, I call it the three-coin mystery.
Okay.
But I'm going to do it with 4 coins.
Yeah.
Well, there are 4 coins there, yes. So, here. The first coin goes into the hand. The second coin goes into the hand. The third coin into the hand. The fourth, no. This is a mystery with 3 coins.
Very good.
Yes.
So you see what I mean? It's just that one final phase from that coins to the table thing. So you're just getting that pure vanish. It's just such a clean vanish of 3 loose objects. I love it.
The first thing I thought of as I was watching this compared to what we saw the last time. The last time was a lot earlier. Eugene Burger. And you could still see, I don't mean to take anything away, but it was a pretty standard presentation of the sponge balls or just kind of a very straightforward presentation.
Totally.
And I think the biggest thing about it was I didn't feel like he was present with those people there as much as he was performing a piece.
That's right.
And
that was
now
sort
when
of
you
the
look
point
at
of
this,
bringing those in. Yeah.
Yeah. And now when you look at this, he's present here, right? He's having a conversation. He's real. He's not in any hurry. There doesn't seem to be a script, even though there is one, I'm sure.
That's right.
But it doesn't seem to be. It just seems like I'm having a moment with this guy at the table, and that's, and that this is the thing. You know what I mean?
Before it seemed to be like he was following the pattern of this is what it is to be a close-up magician. You do this routine, you do this routine. and you got to get in all those lines, you got to get in all those phases, because that's what it takes to be that guy.
That's
and
right.
Then now we're at a point where he sort of like learned everything you need to learn to be that guy. He sort of put a pause on it and examined all that and said, well, what is it really to be that guy if I'm really boiling it down? And how do you get rid of the schmaltz and the unnecessary, right?
I look at it just a little different. I think between then and now, he's found himself a little bit. Like he knows who he wants to be in that situation. And he's just kind of crafting his.
I think it's the same thing.
Probably,
I think it's knowing who you are, looking at your material, trying
what
to
you're comfortable with, what you want
them to reflect.
Yeah.
You want your material to be a reflection of who you are, right? He's
Man,
trying
I'm
to
telling
get that.
That's what's so awesome about these afternoon astonishments. You know what I mean? That little realization right there.
Yeah.
You know, just to see that change takes place is kind of like it's like a flare. It's like, hey, this is how you get on the path. You know, this is what you do.
And this is when he had things to say. This is when it was important, when he, because before he was a close-up guy that was in Chicago that was getting a lot of attention because he was a good performer, right? And he was working.
Right.
And after that, it became, he was writing books and he was starting to get into more, as opposed to how, more of why it works, right? And I think that was the self-examination that we're talking about, because he was also studying theology, right? He was a professor of theology.
Right. I
So,
forgot about it. I thought it was philosophy, but you're right, it's theology.
Yeah, it could be philosophy now that I'm thinking about it. But either way, I mean, he's doing a lot of self-examination. He's looking at his life. He's looking at this thing he loves, this performance art that he loves, and trying to get it more on par with what life really is, right? He was getting more into bizarre magic. He was doing things that were more real, right?
Right.
And I think that's what we have here. So let's continue on with this.
Yeah,
let's go to
there's
sort of another part to that coin trick. And this is just a great continuation of it. Just so imagine we're at the point where the 3-coin mystery just occurred and 1 coin's left.
We have a coin that we'll call this heads because there's the head of the Statue of Liberty, and the other side is called tails because, well, in this case, I don't know why it's called that. I guess because it's not heads. Here's a game. And I know you two will like playing games, particularly you, because I know that guys with facial hair enjoy playing games. Yes, I know this. So here's a game. And it's a game that has been used for many, many years to swindle people.
You're going to swindle us.
Yes, I think that's the idea. Here's the idea. We'll call that tails and that's heads. In fact, I'm going to move the carpet so that you can see this a little clearer. The coin is placed flat on the table and it is covered with, in this case, one of my business cards. The business card is covered with the glass. And the glass is covered with several paper towels. And the idea is that there's no way that you can see that coin. And if you can see the coin, my darling, I don't want to play the game with you, but here's the game. The coin is put flat on the table, covered with the card, and if you say heads, tails will be on top of the coin and you will lose. If you say tails, heads will be on top of the coin and you will lose. In other words, grim as it sounds, whatever you say, you lose. And I can do this 1,000 times.
Okay.
What do you say?
I don't remember what you put it on.
Well, I didn't tell you, right.
Oh, okay.
That's what makes it a game.
I'm going to say tails.
Tails. So I have to make heads on top.
Right.
How do I do that?
Magic.
No, you see that little movement? You see, you would not have even noticed the movement if I had not pointed it out to you. But that is the movement that's important. Now, I will not even touch the coin. You said heads, or you said...
What did I say?
You said tails.
I said tails.
You will see that heads are on top. Yes? Wrong. Well, this is so that she's willing to put up money. You see, well, we'll try it again. Here, heads or tails? What do you say?
I say heads.
And you see the tip. It's heads. You're very good at this game. One more time, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads. Here, hold your hand out like this.
Okay.
Ready? You're really good at this.
You got her good.
And I got it wrong, too. I didn't see that.
Just what I think that's Slidini, am I not right? Or is it Scarney? The glass.
There's lots of versions of that. I must admit that's the first time I've seen someone hold
I've
out for like a couple phases like that. after the
Never
steal.
seen that. Never
Yeah.
seen that.
There's like nothing to go back to, right?
Yeah, the glass through table was my high school. That was my high school diner trick that I would do all the time.
It's a killer.
It's a
If
killer.
you don't do that trick, you need to do that trick. That was my impromptu trick that I could do anywhere, anytime for years.
Always.
It's
Great trick. And
you
I
get
love
credit
his
for
little
doing
take
so
on
much
it.
more.
Yeah, I love the little take on it, really making it focused about the coin and what's the condition of the coin, is it heads or tails, which just gives you so much cover.
Business card for extra cover.
It's in play. It's in play, but I love when
it's
you
a
get
red
your business
herring.
card in
It's a
play.
red herring. It's a little bit of smoke, but it just adds so much more. So there's more things to focus on. So when that steal happens, there's not much to notice because you got to lift that card to look at the coin, and that's good.
A lot
It's
going
got a lot
on.
going for it, man. That's a lot going for it.
Jeff says he uses a salt shaker. I've done that too.
Totally.
Yeah,
did that too. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I played with the vanishing the salt shaker. Like it just would vanish and it would be gone, and I'd have it show up places.
I hate to sound like when I started out in Magic, the old guys were saying exactly what I'm about to say. Right? So now I'm the old guy. But it's just like you don't really need the newest, hottest thing. What you need is like a good solid trick that you can wrap around something that means something to you and turn it into a piece. Like he's taken that right there, which I guarantee you go to the library and there's a book at the library that's got that trick in it. Guarantee.
Totally. It's in the back room.
And he made it into something awesome.
Yeah.
Just an awesome little and great byplay with the spectators. So it's not just about the thing. It's like they have a part in it. It's fantastic. The woman's actually playing. She's invested because the glass vanishes. And what does she say? Oh, and I got it wrong too. That's how invested she is in it.
Totally.
It's brilliant.
Totally.
Absolutely brilliant.
Good. All right. So let's take a step in a different direction. We're going to see Eugene. He worked at a fine dining restaurant in Chicago called Biggs, and he would work table side, but only if he was invited, right? Like there would be things around that said that Eugene was there, but he wasn't like in the dining room unless a waiter came out and said, here comes Eugene and here's a chair for him to sit at. And he's officially joining your table because the maitre d' brought Eugene or the waiter brought Eugene, right? Otherwise, he was in the downstairs part of this restaurant, which was the bar, the lounge, right? And he would work behind the bar. So that's what we're going to see now is sort of his opening to being in the bar. So let's take.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
It's really, really cool. Okay, let's here we go. Full screen.
So you didn't ask me the question everybody asks me. Do I hide things in my beard? Well, of course I do. Otherwise, why would you have a beard? Didn't think it was going to be that kind of a party, did you, Barbara? I didn't really do that. I didn't do that. I put it under my beard. Watch this. Barbara, tell the matchbox to stand up.
Stand up, please.
Not bad.
Great.
Tell it to fall down.
Fall down.
Much easier. Tell it to open.
Open.
And you can check that out. I'll use this lighter.
That's great.
Do you smoke cigarettes?
Yes.
Great. What about you?
On occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Not fanatic either way.
This is a starter cigarette for you, Barbara.
Thank you.
This is actually difficult to do because the cigarette is lit. Very hot for a moment.
Great little opener.
Again, it's a classic. We all know that.
And it's really cool because the method he's using for that is really something, because he sometimes would reproduce the lit cigarette.
Oh,
it's really good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, gosh, you couldn't do that anywhere now, though.
Not anymore. Not unless you're standing outside in a smoking area where people go outside to smoke, if they even have.
Hey, meet me outside by the garbage can. I want to show you something.
Or everyone's standing out there and you go, hey, before you go in, let me show you this thing, right? And that's the only way you see cigarette magic anymore, because it's over.
Yeah, it's pretty much over. Harris doesn't work with a vape pen.
It's a good question.
I don't know.
Probably
Maybe.
not. Probably could.
Figure something out.
All right, so let's continue on with this bar set, and we'll see another good classic. But again, it's Eugene has found a way to get more of himself in the stuff, so it's not just a trick. It's really, well, I'll just let it be here. This is really good. You'll get the point right away.
Young, back in the 1940s, I went to the carnival one day and I saw a man playing a game with 3 cards. He said, "Kid, what's your name?" I said, "Eugene." He said, "Eugene, the game is easy. There are 2 black cards and a red queen, and all you have to do is keep your eye on the queen." I moved a little closer. He mixed the cards. I don't know what you would have said. I said the queen was in the middle. I was right. He said, "You're pretty good at this game. Why don't you bet a little money? You could make some quick change here."
Oh, no.
Well, I was young and innocent in those days, so I took out a quarter. He smiled, mixed the cards. I said that was the queen. I was right again, and I thought, this is a fabulous game. I've doubled my money in 10 seconds. That's better than real estate, what you do. So, then, it is. Then the greedy voice in the head said, why not add a little to it? He mixed the cards. I said that was the queen. I lost everything. The queen was over here. He said, don't go away, Eugene. You're young. I'm going to give you a break. I wasn't that young and innocent, Barbara. I took out 15 cents this time. He smiled, mixed the cards, and said, now look, that's not the queen, and that's not the queen. I said that. He said, you're not watching. I said, wait a minute, you're playing with 1, 2, 3 black cards. No, he said, I always play with a queen.
Oh, very nice.
Well, I realized I could fool him. I was young in those days. Well, I took out $1, which in the 40s was a lot of money. I laid it on the edge of the table so it fell on the floor. And when he reached over to pick it up, I reached over and bent the corner of the queen just like that. A precocious child. Well, when people saw that I had bent the corner, there was money flying because everybody wanted to play the game. And this guy was so busy picking up the money, he never even noticed I had bent the corner of the card. I said, don't touch him. That's not the queen, and that's not the queen. Pay up. He said, Eugene, never bend the card. It'll only confuse you. And then he turned over a card I had just touched, and it was the queen. And that's why we should never play cards with strangers.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And I love that, he makes it his own. He's got all the things he's saying about his youth, all the money references. It's clearly it feels like it's a real story, I think.
Yeah, you know what I liked was the pace.
I like the pace too.
The pace of the mixing and the pace of everything. It didn't seem like it was going by so fast that you have to see it again. You felt like you saw everything.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that has to do with the pace. If he was rushing, then you feel like, hey, wait a second. Hey, wait a second,
Right.
He was great.
Right. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you don't ever feel like you're in question. He's showing you everything he needs to show you, so you're right there with him, right? It's good. So let's step out of the bar, and we're going to go into sort of just the lounge area, and we're going to see Eugene Berger do a really great I don't want to say what it is. It's a very good standard of card magic. You'll get the point right away. But let's get this thing going on here.
Can we get a drink at the bar before we go to the lounge, or do they have drinks there?
Go ahead.
All right.
We'll wait to start.
Oh no, it's okay.
John, do you play with my cards?
Yeah.
Here, take the deck. Spread the cards so the faces are toward you, but hold them up because I will look if I get a chance. I can't help it. You see many cards there, don't you?
Yeah.
Take out one card that strikes your personal fancy. You have one?
Yeah.
I'll take the deck, you keep the card. And John, on this side of your card, write your first name. But again, hold the card up, because I try to look.
All right.
Yeah.
We cheat.
Yeah.
Gee.
I'll take your pen, show the card to Evan. Don't show it to Michael, because he might look at you with this, you never know. As I run my thumb down the edge of the deck, tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop.
Put the card right there. And remember the card, this is hideously stupid. Here's your question. Do you think that I could have known, seriously, before I gave you the deck, what cards you would take out?
Absolutely.
That's what they all say. My hand is empty. In my back pocket, I have a billfold. And John, in the billfold, there is one and only one red card. You hold the deck. As unbelievable as this sounds to you, I believe that this card matches the card you freely chose from the deck. What card did you take?
Joker.
Too easy. And that's not the best part. See, on this side of the billfold, there's a pocket. In the pocket is another billfold. Inside this billfold in the pocket is a blue card. And John, your name's on it.
How about that, John?
Yeah, right? That's a good one. That's a real good one. You're muted there. I think that's a real good handling of that effect.
It's such a it looks like a mullica, I'm thinking.
It's a mullica. Yep,
Yep.
it's a mullica wallet. Yep.
And it's just a beautiful handling, and so powerful. And I'd like to point something out.
Okay.
May I?
Please.
May I make a point?
Please.
He is using that mullica, which is kind of that secretary style wallet, that big long wallet
Yes.
that everyone says, oh, I don't want to carry that because, I don't wear a suit coat or whatever. Notice what he did. He pulled it out of his back pocket.
That's
He
the way I did it for years. And I
didn't care.
must admit, I was influenced by Eugene. I carried
Yeah.
it, and that was my wallet. I didn't even
Not worried
care.
about it. It's a great wallet. It works. Like I use the Jerry O'Connell Plus wallet, and
Mhm.
it's like that. I don't
That
want
has
to
a mullica feature in it too, doesn't it?
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I think of a mullica, right? I
It's
think
the wallet
of
in the wallet.
the wallet in the wallet.
Yeah.
And Jerry O'Connell doesn't have a wallet in a wallet. It has like a wallet and then like
You have
an ID case or something.
You do the thing with the envelope anyway. So it
Yeah, I
doesn't
do
really
that
matter.
anyway. Yeah.
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 It doesn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
But
Killer
still,
handling though.
killer handling, man. And he, I mean, it's such a powerful thing. If you're not doing some form of it, you should be.
It should be in some way.
There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of things. There's the little tin for the Mercury card fold in the
Mhm.
little tin. There's so many ways to do that kind of a thing.
Right.
gotta find
It
one of
really
them.
it's just that object to an impossible place, right?
Mhm.
That you just have that effect is such a strong, like ethereal magic thing, right? It's just one of those things you want to have in there because you have the skills. If we're talking here, you probably have the skills to make
You
that happen.
definitely do. You can definitely figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that has to be in the repertoire because if you do it right, there's nothing to backtrack to. It literally is something melted in front of me and now it's over there in that thing, or it's in that thing in your pocket or whatever. It's startling good magic, man. I love that hand.
Magic.
So remember when we were the last of the Eugene Berger videos, this deep dive that we did, we looked at some of the stuff in the earlier sort of formats,
Yeah.
right? Like the coin
Mhm.
trick, we saw it in a really early stage. The gypsy thread was the same thing, right? It was pretty much, I have a thread here and I break it into a bunch of little pieces. I roll it into a ball, give it a squeeze, and now it goes back together, right? It was like very descriptive pattern. This is, again, the Eugene that we know now. This is the way you would have seen Eugene doing gypsy thread. And he doesn't call it the gypsy thread. The title that he gives it is the cosmic thread, and you'll see why in just a moment. I think it's pretty wonderful. This is really fun.
Yellow cotton thread. A single length, which will represent the entire universe. In Hindu
So
mythology,
Eugene Berger.
it is the god Brahma who creates the universe and all that there is. Brahma then retires, and the god Vishnu takes over. And Vishnu sustains and preserves the universe in every moment of its existence. And then, at the end of time, the god Shiva appears and dances a weird and terrible dance of fire, the Tandava dance, in which the entire material universe is destroyed in blinding light, brighter than 10,000 suns. And the universe is no more. There is only silence, vast cosmic sleep. And out of this cosmic sleep, Brahma wakens himself again. He looks about, and seeing nothing lovely or beautiful, he decides to create the universe again. And creating it, he retires, pleased with his eternal play.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. I mean, that's just about as perfect a presentation of that as I've seen.
That's right. I
And
don't
it's
think you can do
unique.
anything better there.
It's unique, you know, it's I mean, really, it's just the refinement of that effect. Great story.
Mhm.
It's perfect.
There was nothing wrong with the way he did it before. Technically, it was perfect. Everything about it was great. But that grabs you by the collar and makes you go, hey, check this out.
Mhm.
And that's, when you can get magic to do that, it's pretty wonderful.
And the beautiful justification of the flame.
Right?
And then having it there to blow out at the end to mark the end of your routine. I mean, it's just so great.
Great.
Everything about it is just great.
Right. It's
really love it.
It's like a stage piece on a table.
Yeah,
Right?
it really is. Yeah, it's really great.
Really cool. All right. Well, that's our Eugene Berger show for the day. That's all of our clips. I think that's
good,
probably
man.
where we call it. So why don't we move on into the after show, right? And we'll end this recording for everyone. So for everyone that's watching on YouTube, thanks for joining us today. Do us a favor, hit the like button, which tells everyone that we're doing a good job with these videos. And while you're at it, subscribe to Conjuror Community right now so you'll be notified when we go live with new magic videos. By the way, if you've never tried out a proper magic club, you should check out our club, Conjuror Community Club. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all on the next one.